Well, today I am thrilled. I'm going to introduce you to someone that I got to know, she and her husband, as just being hometown heroes. There was a 2.5 year period that my husband and I attended a church, and they had just launched this incredible ministry, just a sacrifice and an act of obedience, huge faith. And so many people that I loved from the Tres Dias community and just all kinds of mutual friends could not say enough amazing things about One City Ministries with Mike and Deb Gilbert. So the best thing we can do is just take you there. Go with us to Uganda and see the vision.
In sub-Saharan Africa, a child dies of malaria every 30 seconds. We were losing children all under the age of 5. We'd lose 2 or 3 a week.
People ask us a lot why we are in Uganda.
We started to uncover things that just need to be dealt with.
Sometimes there are 8 hours a day is spent in just collecting the water that they need for the day.
You go out, you walk in the dark, to wherever the water source is. Could be a borehole, could be a stream, but it's dangerous.
If I get the chance of talking to Sarah, I would thank her that, please, may God bless you abundantly.
When I go into the village and I watch the women cook, I personally cannot walk into one of their kitchens. I can't breathe. Immediately, I cannot breathe. And they're in there weeping. I mean, it's hurting their eyes, and you can hear people coughing, but it's something that they have to do.
We are having a medical clinic. The people in the community have been helped. What Deb and Mike did has been wonderful. Thank you very much.
We found, obviously, HIV as a big critical factor. We saw a lot of malaria. Then we saw a lot of typhoid. There's need here. There's needs that need to be addressed.
When you're with the people, it's not just a picture, and you're with people and you're seeing people starving and you're seeing people dying.
That was kind of a need for us to understand what we're facing. You can't walk into a dark room and face enemy. You got to put light on it. We want to work through the people, not just to the people, and empower them and bring them up.
It was like we got to this place of surrender, you know? The bottom falls out of your world, and you're in that place that only God can heal.
It has an impact on you, a long, deep impact.
Wow. So you've just seen a little bit about something that isn't just a local hometown heroes ministry, but it has now become a global phenomena. And God is using this couple. And Deb, I'm so blessed that you're here. And there's so much to talk about, but I really want to focus today. And you know how cool God is. I've interceded for you for years, and I've done fundraisers and gone and participated, and we've even had tables and booths at our church and sold ornaments and done things to sow into the vision. So it's such an honor to meet you in person. And God does that. He does that supernaturally
all the time.
But I really want to talk today about a mother's heart, a mother's story, and surrender, because you see this great miracle, but many people don't see the cost and how God spoke to you and moved you from having what people would call a normal, exemplary, close-knit Christian family and walk, and then tragedy, and then this is birthed. This is the beauty from the ashes. So do you mind just sharing your story?
No, I love to share the story. I don't always make it through it very well, but we were living a very normal life. You know, just there was nothing unique about us. We both served at the church that we attended, and for years. And at some point, we realized that our son had a very serious addiction problem, and
He was a teenager?
he was. When we really realized the problem, he was about 17. And we tried all the things, you know. I had homeschooled him for a year before he fired me from homeschooling. I wasn't very good at it. And, but we thought we had him kind of on level ground at that point. And then we did all the things that you would do. We had psychiatrists, we had counselors, we had Christian counselors. We tried all the things that you can do as parents. We prayed. We were on our knees a lot. And you always feel like, I mean, I just felt like I had peace about the prayer because I felt like we were doing so much for God. My husband and I both ran small groups. We taught premarital classes at the church. We taught blended family classes. We had various small groups, and we just filled our life with God and serving God, and kind of thought, God has this. And I would pray all the time that God just let this kid live till he's 18, you know, let's just get there. And so after a couple of really close encounters with death, we had a long conversation with Sean and kind of had a come to Jesus meeting with, you know, like things have to change. And it was a great meeting, and I took notes, and I had little pictures, I still have it. And we kind of felt like afterwards he knew all the right things. He knew that he needed to back away from the people that he was with because they were all having addiction problems, and we thought we were on a good path with him. And he promised he would be home for Sunday dinner and family game night, and that was wonderful. And he didn't come home. And you know, it was just, when you pray so much, you expect God to answer it in a certain way, don't we? We think, I'm praying this, and this is what God is going to. You have this picture of what it's going to look like, and it was always healing and safety. And on this particular, after this weekend that he hadn't come home, my husband had a really bad feeling all day, but I was kind of at peace that day, which was unusual. And we had a friend of his that we had been trying to find him, and a friend called. We were at church, we were doing our little small group, and a friend called Mike and said, Mike came in the room and said to me, this person says that she thinks Sean is dead. And you can't really make sense of that. And we rushed home, and there was a car from the sheriff's department on our door, and Mike called them, and they came right out, and they were very awkward and didn't quite know how to handle what they had to share with us. And they told us that he had overdosed at a party with some friends, and you can't really grasp that,
No.
can you? And I was not really ready to believe that until I could actually see him, and that was a couple of days before we actually could see him. And but you know, we were surrounded by all those people that we had been with for years at our church. They all surrounded us. I mean, our house was full of pastors and people and casseroles and coffee and, you know, all those things. And
Community.
yes, and so important, you know, that I think that's why God had us doing all the things we were doing, because we were going to need that at a time like that. And you know, God also gave me a couple of other mothers. I will always remember that they came into my home just days after this happened, and they had both lost children. They had both lost sons, and they were so broken and so defeated. And I just remember saying to God, like, I can't do that with my son. I need to honor him, and I can't just fall into this black hole and not come out. And you know, if you ever sang the song, I Surrender,
Yeah.
man, you do. When you have something like that, you have nothing else to do but surrender to God.